And we were both like, that's a billionaire. And that's the guy who created the vaccine everyone's getting. And he's now walking to the train station, taking the train back home.
In the middle of the road.
Yeah.
Like there was a sidewalk and he's just like walking down this road. I'm like, could you at least
please be safe.
Don't get killed.
Yeah, that's really Uber now.
Yeah. What are not that we have to talk about Uber the whole time, but it's fascinating to me. Anytime it's hard, like as we put this together, we really want to honor the journey, and I find anytime any characters you see in shows or whatever as they become when we write them, this like juxtaposition of he's this billionaire, but he's walking downtown or refuses any of the luxuries of being a billionaire. When you look back on 2020 or the last 18 months, are there any other of those like oddity anecdotes that you think of with him or Özlem and just the way that they led this team that's unorthodox to you?
It has never changed, to be honest. So if you ask Katrin Jansen how she met Uber, she will tell you that he just came in this huge Pfizer headquarter in New York, and he just had his backpack and he was walking in with his presentation to discuss it. So it was never different. They are just the way they were like 10 years ago. And I just read a tiny paragraph in the book, and it was really, to me as a woman and also just focused on career and looking up to strong women, that they have founded a first unicorn company, Ganymede, and they had to sell it because they had like an investor, and they had the rule after 5 years they need to get their money back and to invest in something else. So either it was successful or the company's going to die. And they had, so the 5 years were over and the investor wanted to get out, and they were really like, okay, we don't have anything to put back in, and if this investor is going to leave us, we will have to sell the company, or the company will be taken up by, in a merger acquisition, so by a huge company, and everything we have done in the past years will be gone. And then they met Thomas Schrimmmann, who also put in some money in Ganymede, and said, I give you a little bit of time until we have reached another level of maturity when it comes to the antibody vaccine candidate, which is now in phase 3. So they were able to further develop the innovation, but there was still a point in time where also Thomas Schrimmmann said, okay, now it's, you have your baby, and here it is, and now it can be taken by someone else and brought to the market, because phase 3 is just too expensive and we don't have a commercial department, we cannot produce it, we don't have anything, so it makes sense to give it in the hands of someone else who really has the infrastructure to build or to roll out this new drug. And so they had to sell Ganymede, and Özlem was really sad about that because she had already set up a plan how she hoped she could be able to already treat patients while the approval of the vaccine or the treatment is still ongoing.
Yeah.
But they couldn't finance it, so they had to sell it. And the company who bought it, Astellas, a Japanese company, they decided for another strategy, and they said, no, we are going to do 2 really big phase 3 trials and then roll it out afterwards if it's successful. So the dream of her treating patients really early didn't came true, and she was really sad about that and not achieving her original goal.
Yeah.
And Ugo was already working for BioNTech, and then they were discussing how, or if Özlem wants to join BioNTech, and she was not really into becoming an entrepreneur again, and she wanted to do science and care for patients and stuff. And but they discussed that this might be their second baby and it might get lost again because they are not taking care of it properly. And then she decided to participate in BioNTech and to become a member of the board